Hey guys, Mr. Kurzweil here. We're going to continue our work on measurements. And yesterday we talked about measuring to a closest whole inch. And today we're going to take that a step farther. And in order to do that, I want to remind you of fractions that we've been working on. If I had a shape like the square on the left over here, and if we know that was broken up into two equal parts, we would know that each part would equal a half. All right, I have half on one side, half on the other. Well, that idea is going to help us with our measurements today. And I'm going to show you how. Let's take this pencil and let's measure it. Let's drag that down and measure it. And first thing we have to remember is we have to make sure that it is lined up. Okay, so I bring the tip of the pencil to right where that zero is, so I know it's lined up properly, so I have an accurate measurement. And when I look at this right now, I can see that the eraser does not fall on a 3 or a 4. So that means it's more than 3 inches, but less than 4 inches. And the way I'm going to make sure I do this correctly is I'm going to count. I'm going to count my whole inches. I have 1, 2, 3. So there's my 3 full inches. And then I have this little bit more. And from the video that we had watched, we know that the space in between the 3 and that hash mark and the hash mark to the 4 is an equal amount. We know from our fractions that is a half cut right down the middle. So our measurement of our pencil is 3.5 inches. All right, I'm going to try another one. Let's move this out of the way and let's go right to our marker. And we'll drag our marker down and measure this to make sure we get the idea. Again, I take a look at it and make sure I line it up properly best I can. Right on that line, beautiful. I draw a line as to where the end of the marker is. And again, I'm going to go through that process of counting how many whole inches there are, how many full inches there are. And I know that this marker is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's at least 7 inches, but there's that little bit more. So I'm going to write that 7 down. And we know from what we were talking about, since that's right down the middle, right in between the 7 and 8, that's another ½ inch. Now, a lot of errors that I see students do is they'll go through this measurement and they get so excited about learning about ½ inches that they'll write down that this measurement is a ½ inch. All right, because they're only measuring that little spot right there. Don't forget to count those whole inches so you get an accurate measurement. Okay. The one other area I want to point out that is sometimes troublesome for students is when they're doing a measurement and the question is measuring something to the closest ½ inch, the closest ½ inch. Well, first, let's remember, when we talk about fractions, we're talking about a half, for example. We know that 2 halves equals a whole, and we know that 0 halves means there's nothing, right? There's no half at all. It's not broken up. So let's look at this measurement right here and see what we have. So I have it lined up, and I'm going to do again 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to 5, but something very interesting happens in this measurement. It ended right on the 5 mark. So if the question was asking us to measure to the closest ½ inch, we would have here our measurement of 5 inches. And are there any ½ inches left? No, it is just 5 inches. And that is sometimes a tricky question we run into every once in a while that you want to kind of keep an eye on. All right, but the key to our lesson is to remember that if you look in between the inches, right down the middle, even amount. We have an even amount here. Excuse me. We have an even amount here on one side, then we have it on the other side as well. So guys, I hope that helps. I hope that makes a lot of sense. Good luck with your lesson today. Good luck with your lesson today, and I will look forward to seeing you soon.